breaking news for your home. Wayday! Wayfair's big sale is almost here, and you can score the best deals in home. Like up to 80% off everything home. Yes, you heard that right. 80% off with free shipping on everything. Plus surprise flash deals all Wayday long. We're talking outdoor furniture and essentials, rugs, and more. All at Wayfair, and all up to 80% off during Wayday. Shop Wayfair's Wayday from April 25th through 27th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Brains at Work, designing work for every brain. I'm Carla, your host. I work with individuals and organizations to change the way we work, one neuron at a time. And today, I want to talk about how do you learn?
Do you know how do you learn? It's a serious question. Let's take a minute to think about that. I'm going to give you a second.
It's not so easy to answer, right? Do you learn by making mistakes? Do you learn through explanations from another person? Or do you prefer to figure out things for yourself and then come to a conclusion? So how long as well does it take to you to learn something new? And that's different for everyone. And why do I talk about this today? Is because there is a fundamental difference in the way we learn in different stages of our life, first of all. And how do we mature in that sense? Because we have a very structured way of learning, which is given us in school. So we have the feeling that you always have to learn from a source, from a book, from a person, that you have to sit there, take notes, highlight with colors on the page.
And this is still the way I do, by the way.
However, I realized that in time, my way of learning has evolved significantly. I want to learn by trying. I want to have a little bit of theory, but then I want to go and I want to experiment and I want to find my own way. I want to make the subject my own. I want to find my own solutions for the problems that I encounter. I hate to be told. And it took me a long time to understand.
It would have been amazing to understand this earlier.
When you work in a business environment, like everyone, right? You are working with other people and you are working with someone above you that is a manager and is supposed to share, to give you some knowledge and let you develop the knowledge that you want to develop. However,
how many people really know how do they learn and how this is problematic?
Well, it's problematic in many, many ways because if you don't know how do you learn, you are under a lot of pressure to demonstrate to someone else that you can learn the way they want you to learn. First of all, what does this mean? Frustration and enormous rate of insuccess. What does this mean as well is that you are unable to ask for support. If you don't know how do you learn and what do you like learning, first of all, that's a connected topic, but still very important. What do you like learning? Let's hope you are in a professional position where you are fulfilled. You do something that you like. Let's assume it's true. The moment you understand the way you learn stuff is the moment you can ask for the right support. If you don't know, you cannot even communicate clearly with the rest of your team the way you want to work on those topics together, right? Or the role that you can cover in a team because you haven't figured out this fundamental point. Now, let's switch side of the table from the employee to the employer.
I'm talking to you, manager. I'm talking to you, team lead. This is your duty to understand the people in your team.
And it's not just, going out to share a beer. No. This is what team building is about. You need to understand the way your teammates are built, inside and outside. Now, the only metrics you have to understand is what do you observe from the outside. However, there is never just the outside. You need to understand what's going on within this human being. And that's where we fail because we have no time or we think we have no time. right? But what we do is do these team buildings events where people discuss about nothing around a beer. What you want to know is how these guys live their life outside the office, because that's where you understand how they work and how they think and how they learn by asking, what do you do? I play music. Oh, great. And where did you learn? That's the first point where you can collect data around what you're interested in.
Why are you interested in that?
Because you want to give them instructions more clearly. You want them to be more efficient, and that's a metric of efficiency, because the more they learn, the more they know, and the more they can operate on a above the average level.
Am I clear enough?
From there, that's how they can develop in the future. And this is good for them, is good for you, and is good for the business that you're doing together. This is even more key and fundamental for brains that are neurodiverse, because there you can be really surprised, because the way of learning is completely different. It can be completely different from the way of learning of another brain. It may take a little bit longer, but the results are crazy, because remember, many neurodiverse brains work with specific interest. So if you are a good manager and you are taking the time to understand how your single members function and how do they learn, and also what do they like to learn, there you have a bingo. There you have a recipe for success, because everyone can be empowered to work on its own flow in its own way and progress by self-motivation. Yes, self-motivation.
There is a difference between being motivated from the outside, for example, because you promise a salary raise, or you have self-motivated individuals. And these are typically the ones who have understood what do they like to learn and how do they like to learn. And they don't need you to push them, because you just need to give them the space and they will go. You give the thread and they will just go like a kite in the sky.
And on this beautiful poetry, I'm going to close today's episode, reminding you to follow the show, to follow the podcast, subscribe, share this, and leave us in the comments how is your experience of learning and understanding yourself. I will see you next time.